up, YouTube? Topaz Yates back for another daily review, and this one is to that NBA Youngboy Too Much, and I'm giving this one the yellow light, and not because it's that quality of a song or anything like that, man, because it honestly comes off as the mumble rap that we hear on the internet and on the radio all the time these days. And I'm not saying that it's a different variation or anything like that, man. Honestly, it just blends right on in with what's going on out there, man. But I still say people should check this out because NBA Youngboy would be potentially the next one in line to actually see success in the game based off of his following and all the people that enjoy his stuff. If he were just to stay out of trouble, but yet he honestly cannot, because he, not that long ago, I believe in December, got picked up for attempted murder charges. And what they said is they got him as the passenger in a car that did a drive-by as retaliation to someone who got murdered just 8 hours earlier. And you know, all that's pretty much saying, if they ain't got no ballistic evidence or anything like that, it's ultimately saying somebody dropped a dime on him. And you know, attempted murder, you get the same time as actual murder, and if this actually does pan out the way it's looking, then his career is all but over before it even started. This song obviously comes off as one that he recorded beforehand that he fell into these trouble, where he's reminiscing on coming up from absolute nothing to now he's doing the club scene and everything, how he wants to do it with his homies and all of that. Just a typical song that you tend to hear from new emerging acts, and you know, I never blame any act for creating this same song over and over, because it's very difficult not to talk about such when your life is going through such changes, when you're finally breaking through, you're finally seeing all of the fan base and people support you, man. It's very difficult to actually not rap about, okay, I remember back then when all of these chicks used to knock me, when nobody used to respect me, and now I'm out here doing it on the highest regard. That's the type of song that you have to come to expect from most rappers out there this day and age. But overall, just not that quality of a song, man. It just comes off as the same thing that Young Thug would do or something like that, man. It just happens that NBA Youngboy's from Baton Rouge, I believe. But a quick recap, man. The positives that I take from this is you go ahead and peep this out just to continue your studies on the hip-hop game. Like, you kind of always want to know who's hot, who's coming up next and all of that. So you can take whatever they did and apply it to what you're trying to do, or learn from the mistakes that they are making so you won't do the same. But yet the negatives is it just honestly blends in with today's music industry. Doesn't really stand out like that. Now, if you're an NBA Youngboy fan, you'll probably be able to pull out his songs out from a crowd of people who are trying to do the same things. But for people who don't know who he is from the get-go, man, it'll be pretty difficult to hear one of his songs and differentiate him from everybody else. But this concludes today's review, and now we're going to jump into a brief instrumental from underground producers Sling Raw and Fifth Stone before we jump into the news and then jump into an article from downloadpass.com. Did a interview where he's talking some very interesting stuff, speaking on his Kool-Aid album that a lot of people really gave a lot of credit to, that it actually was a rather solid album. But yet that album really didn't get the spins, it really didn't get the support, nobody really even rocked with it all like that, like it didn't even sell that much, which that's ultimately disappointing there. And Snoop really just says, man, it's because it was different from what's out there on the radio. See, Snoop has done lesser work that actually got plays on the radio and all of that heavy, simply because it fit in with the game and all of that, man, instead of standing out and being different. And a lot of DJs out there really don't want to take that chance, and I feel him 100%, because most of these DJs that I come across, man, they're all just spinning records that you hear on the radio all the time in order to get a crowd reaction. Like, nobody is really controlling the crowd and nobody's really breaking new records like that. It's more of these DJs are here just to spin records, not even scratching or anything, man. They're just there to pick up a check and move on. But anyway, on to today's article from downloadpass.com, and today's article is about when things click, because this is just how things tend to work when it comes to building up skills, man, because it'll take you a very long time in order to build up your skills, in order to get it to where you need them to be. But yet in most cases, these skills that you're trying to develop, it's not going to be like a slow progression to constantly get better one step at a time. A lot of times, man, you go to sleep really struggling at something, then you wake up and things just tend to work out for you, and it's because you put in all of this work in order for you to actually have it click. And I experienced this on so many levels, but yet the best way I can talk about it is with me playing Street Fighter. Because this happened not that long ago, dude. Like, I playing Street Fighter 5, been struggling all this time, man, not very good at it. And then one day I just woke up and I went on a 25 game winning streak. For just some odd apparent reason, like I wasn't really doing anything different than what I was doing before. It's just the game sort of clicked for me for that time period. Now keep in mind, I'm not talking to success. I'm not talking about these people trying to be part of your audience and all that. That's going to take slow progression. But when it comes to skills and actually understanding on how to create the best songs and all of that, man, for you, it honestly will click for you the more work you put in. I hope you enjoyed the show. You can follow me at Twitter up there, and you can go to downloadpads.com, that's down there, to read today's article.